Let's cut to the chase. By the end of this video, you'll get a step-by-step guide to guarantee that your next sprint review is super effective and awesome. One of the very first things I do when supporting a new team as a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, one of the very first things is asking the team members, when's the next sprint review? And I often hear the answer, you mean the demo, right? And my typical response is, nope, I mean the sprint review. The demo in a sprint review is only the inspect part of inspect and adapt. A sprint review is an opportunity to inspect the product increment and adapt the product backlog. The problem with most sprint reviews, ineffective sprint reviews, is that most people spend more time, too much time, on the inspection part, inspecting the product increment, the demo, showing, demonstrating what we have accomplished as a team, the product, features, and not enough time on the adapt part, adapting the product backlog. Let's try to change this together. Here's what a good and effective sprint review looks like. First off, the product owner can kickstart this session by welcoming everyone. It can be as simple as saying, thanks for joining and welcome to the sprint review. Then the product owner, if a product owner feels that participants don't know each other, the product owner can request that the attendees introduce themselves. This is really good also if down the line you'll see that some stakeholders don't attend every single sprint review. They don't attend every single sprint review because they are not really impacted by what we are saying, what we are showing and demoing in the sprint review. Like, for example, marketing. Marketing won't attend every sprint review. They will attend all the sprint reviews where they are directly impacted. Sometimes it's the case, sometimes it's not. So the sprint reviews where marketing attends, it's a good time also to introduce everyone in the team and every other member if the product owner feels that the marketing people don't know the other developers or anyone else in the session. It can be as simple as saying, morning everyone, I'm David. I'm a front-end developer. That's it. Don't overcomplicate introductions. At this point in the review, most people go directly into the demo, into the demonstration of what we've accomplished, what the team has accomplished. But what I recommend doing is for the product owner to give a brief overview of what we committed on. What did the team commit on for this sprint? What was the sprint goal? And a brief overview of maybe the stories and what we were trying to accomplish. What will be demonstrated, and you need to mention that what will not be demonstrated. It's really important that you tell them prior to the demonstration what will be demonstrated out of what we committed and what will also not be demonstrated. The next part of a review is the actual demo, where the development team demonstrates the potentially releasable product increment to the stakeholders, to the attendees, and also possibly the underlying architecture. During the demo, the stakeholders will usually give real-time feedback to the team. I really like this feature. I like this part of this feature. I don't like this part of this feature. And I feel that the team didn't meet the sprint goal for the sprint. The sprint goal previously communicated at the beginning of a review. And it's really important for this part of a sprint review that the attendees, the team really attending the sprint review, they are not shy. They should be asking questions. One of the goals of a sprint review is to really get feedback from the stakeholders, the sponsors, the attendees of a review. So don't be shy. Ask open-ended questions. Questions like, do you feel that the product that we demonstrated really meets your expectations? And let them talk. Let them talk. They will tell you exactly if they like the product. What do they like about the product? Ask them, what's the most important thing, or the coolest thing, the most exciting thing that you saw today? What's the thing that you don't want to see in the future for this product? What would you like to see as a feature, as an upgrade, as an improvement on what we show you today? All these questions, really important questions that really provoke and give you important feedback. For the next part of a review, I usually recommend that people do a recap of what happened during the sprint in terms of events, in terms of problems. It's usually a product owner, a Scrum Master. If you have a tech lead, the tech lead can talk about that. But honestly, anyone can cover this part in the team. So we can start with telling what went well. What went well during the sprint? What didn't go so well? What are the lessons learned? What did we try to experiment with? What were the results of these experiments? And what can we do to improve for future sprints? The next part is the adapt part of a review, where we adapt the product backlog. This is where the Scrum team and also the stakeholders will work together. We need to first go through all these items that didn't meet the definition of done, that couldn't be demonstrated today. All these items need to be put back in the product backlog. Also, we need to go through all the items that we talked about in this review in terms of new features that the stakeholders want to add, that they want to review. How would they fit in this product backlog? How would they impact the current priority and order of this product backlog? We can also talk about the release. When's the next release? Are we within deadline? Are we delayed? What does the burn up chart look like? What does the burn down chart look like? How are we in terms of roadmap? How are we in terms of blockers? Do we have current blockers, impediments that the team feels the stakeholders can help with? It's also a good time for a product owner to show what's coming next. What does the product owner feel the team should be working on in the coming sprint? And we already talked about that. One of the big goals of a sprint review is this feedback part. And I hope that you got the feedback needed in your review. And the feedback needed would mean that sometimes what the product owner intended to do in the next sprint is not exactly what the stakeholders want. Maybe the stakeholders really want an improvement in the current design, in this current feature that you showed, and a new feature being added. They don't want what the product owner proposed to be developed in the next sprint. They want something else. They want to change the priorities, and this is the forum to do that. But the product owner, I suggest that the product owner shouldn't commit on anything in this sprint review. Don't commit on anything. Take the feedback from the stakeholders, from the sponsors, from the attendees, but don't commit on anything. Tell them that you need to talk about this internally, and then you will revert back on the decision what you will do in the next sprint. You shouldn't commit because what the stakeholders tell you in this session. Let's say the stakeholders tell you they need a new feature, a new type of transfer, a new way of doing things. Does it mean that we really need to do that? Does it mean that the market really wants that? Does it mean that you'll get customers? Does it mean that it's the most valuable thing that we can do right now for customers? Sometimes no. How do the stakeholders even know that? This is a critical decision to make because it's impacting the future of a product. We need to make an informed decision here. We need data, we need customer surveys, we need market research, and this data won't be often not in this review. So that's why the product owner should calm down. Just say that you do all the research to ensure that you answer the question, will this feature be valuable to the customer, or removing this feature, does it make sense for the customer? Then you'll revert back to the stakeholders, to attendees, to tell them what will be the plan for the next sprint. Then we are done. We are completely done with a review. Just wrap up. The product owner usually thanks everyone for participating in the review and just say bye and go start working on something else. But remember, the key thing that you need to do after every single reviews is to still add all the things that we talked about, all the improvement items, all the things that need to be removed, all the new features that the stakeholders suggested. Add this to the backlog. You don't need to prioritize this right now. You can do that later, but please add this to the backlog so that you don't forget. If you want more tips and insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.